Welcome to the show. It is Friday. It is May 22nd. Welcome to Memorial Day weekend. The unofficial kickoff to summer. Hope wherever you are, the weather's good and whatever your plans are, you enjoy yourself and stay safe. And it's a good time for family, friends. It's time off work. And hopefully it's a good one for you. We're going to get to a couple emails, maybe a voicemail, and then we'll dive into some other things. So this may be an abbreviated episode. I have personally some things going on today, a million different things on a million different directions. And so this may be a bit abbreviated. I'm cramming this in between things on top of me actually working right now. Yes, I'm working right now. So we're going to get to it. Let's just do it right now. Let's get to the emails. All right, we're going to start off with Matt. And he says, well, I really tried, Matt. I've been a listener of your podcast for a while now. This is going to be a fun one. And while I love the content, the negativity far outweighs the good content for me. Wish I could stick around, but I literally can't take the bullshit anymore. Okay. Well, best wishes to you, Matt. I mean, I never want anyone to stick. I don't beg anyone to stick around. I'm not for everybody. That's cool. I mean, I'm not trying to cling on to people that don't want to listen to me. So I really do appreciate the comments. I know that a lot of my content is bitching about the product. And if that's not your style and you want more positive things coming out of wrestling and you want to listen to a podcast that only focuses on the positive, cool. Find them. Find a podcast that will pull the wool over your eyes. I won't do that here. Find a podcast that just, for whatever reason, focuses only on the good and completely ignores the other stuff that there's a lot of bad going on. Do I sometimes admittedly go too far? Yeah. But I mean, that's just the way I am. I'm not going to change. And certainly I don't want you to listen if you're not enjoying the content. So, and actually, this has nothing to do with you, Matt, at all, but there's a newsletter for my organization. I work for a government organization. I'll leave it at that. And they put out a newsletter that is called Only the Good Stuff. And can you possibly create a more curated version of reality than that? And this just made me think of that. I'm not really sure what it has to do with wrestling, but I guess it's my own worldview. It ties back to my own beliefs. Perhaps this is why people like Matt, which is fine. I'm not being an asshole. Like, if you don't listen, like, move on. Cool. I mean, I don't want to listen to shit that I don't like. So yeah. And you're probably not even listening to this if you've moved on. Anyway, my organization has a newsletter called Only the Good Stuff. First of all, very uninspiring title. Sounds like it was written by a fourth grade student. But beyond that, the principle of that is, as you would imagine and would have probably guessed, that they only want to report on the good stuff. They want to be only positive. Probably in contrast to the news that's largely negative all the time. The problem I have with that, it's a big one. I like to live in reality. I like to live in a place where I want to know the bad shit going on. I don't want this rose-colored glasses and just fantastical curated reality where I'm not getting the full picture. I don't want to know only the good stuff. In fact, only knowing the good stuff will make it more apparent that you're hiding shit you don't want people to know about. I despise that premise. I don't want people only to report on the positive. So I'll leave it at that. I won't get into any more specifics, but I guess that does tie back to wrestling in that I definitely I do make a conscious effort to try to give WWE credit when it's due, but this latest TKO branded version of WWE that has really just sunk in over the last 12 months has been some of the worst professional wrestling I've ever seen in my 30 years of watching. And I'm not going to sit here every week and go, oh, well, I complained too much last week. I guess I won't. I'll ignore all that bad stuff this week. No, they continue to pump out a product I don't like. I'm going to continue to call them out. And I don't live in this world of only talk about the good stuff. Only say something. If you have something nice to say, fuck that. You will never catch me doing that. There's a lot of streamers, a lot of podcasts, and yes, much, much, much bigger ones than me. And that's cool. That like to focus on that and just try to put a spin on just dog shit. WWE will take a dump in the middle of the ring, and then some of these streamers and podcasters, not everyone, but some of them, will try to tell you that that's a fine 3-course meal. That's not here. You'll never get that here. Ever. If you start hearing me talk about only the good stuff in WWE, first of all, it would be a 3-minute show. Second off, report me. Get me banned. Take me out behind the barn. Put me out of my misery. Something's gone horribly wrong in my personal life, probably. Right? So, yeah, and that's the principle I live by. You're not going to get a bullshit version. You're not going to get sponsors who come to me and I have to give you some kind of narrative that they want me to push in order for me to make them a sponsor of the show. Hell no. Not happening. And you're not asking me to. You're telling me that, the negativity outweighs the good content. And yeah, I mean, it often does. Wouldn't be so bad if WWE was able to or TKO was able to put a professional wrestling product on television, not an entertainment product. See, the entertainment comes from the wrestling, but I think that's often lost on those executives. Oh, boy. Anyway, no, Matt, thank you. And thanks for listening. I'm not being an asshole when I say that. I'm being serious. Like, cool. I'm glad that you have moved on. You know what you like. It's not this show. All righty. Let's move on. Couple voicemails. Let's go.
Alex, the French guy here, your European champion. Well, guys, it is WrestleMania week, and it doesn't feel like it. But I'm not here to talk about this poor road to WrestleMania and this poor card in general. I'm here to talk about the positive. And the positive is Gunther versus Seth Rollins. I gotta say that this is the pinnacle example of what a storyline can be. Doesn't need to be month of build-up. Doesn't need to be a high justification and a historical justification. Just like that. On this past Raw, Gunther came in and said to Seth Rollins, I don't like you. I want to prove that you're not the best, that I am classic Gunther, saying that he doesn't value his position like Seth Rollins. Practically, he said he's an idiot serving to Paul Heyman, and also saying that his sportsmanship is poor and he doesn't value wrestling. And once again, Gunther wants to prove that he is the best, and that's what I like about Gunther. The classic storylines that he writes are very simple. You just come into the ring and say, I am better than you, and I respect the sport. I want to prove that I am the best. Doesn't need anything else. You know, he said that he did it for Paul Heyman, but more than that, he did this because he don't like Seth Rollins and wants to prove that he is the best, just because he doesn't like it. That's a justification, guys, and I'm surprised that just in 4 weeks they justify storyline just like that, because I like it. That's one of the matches I'm looking forward to, because it will be a great match. Both guys have a great chemistry. I could see during the promos, and just wanted to say that. Bye, guys.
Well, yes, this is an old voicemail, but I wanted to put it on because I can still respond to it in current terms, and I wanted to give him time because I just didn't put it on the show. It slipped past my radar. So, Alex, the French guy, hope you're doing well. Again, I know this is a month ago, but fine. It's still relevant. Why? Because the principle is correct. You don't need months of a buildup. You don't need always long story arcs. That's not feasible to have everybody in a long story arc that makes sense, that's well thought out. It's ideal. It's the utopia of wrestling. That's what you should aim for, but it's not going to always happen. It almost never does. My point is, to Alex's point, you don't need all this buildup to have a great match. Now, the buildup wasn't great, but what would you rather have? A really good buildup with a ho-hum match finish and overall quality of the performance? Or would you rather have a kind of mediocre build to a match, but have the match over deliver. Now, it doesn't need to be one or the other. You could have a great matchup and a great build. It doesn't need to be, opposites. But I think my point and Alex's point stands. Having a story not always meet expectations, but the match over deliver is I think a more desirable position to be in, rather than over promising and under delivering. And with Seth and Gunther, you know what you're going to get, and that's what we got at WrestleMania. But that could apply to anyone today. And we are always looking for that fun, great build, and builds are fun. They can be a lot of fun, and it is marketing. I mean, you're trying to get people to buy PLEs. You're trying to get people to buy the ESPN Unlimited so they can watch the PLEs. You're trying to do that. That's your goal. Because I think TKO likes money. I may be wrong on that, but that's what the goal is. So yes, build should really be something they focus on because it's marketing, but also delivering, executing should also be something that is focused on. And with Gunther and Seth and others like them, you're going to get a quality match and deliver. So, Alex, sorry about that. I know it's freaking 4 weeks late. So, all right, one more voicemail, and then we'll get to some other news items and my thoughts on them. This is, I think it's Kyle, so let's see what he has to say.
It's Kyle. So I wanted to talk about Paige's return. I'm still listening to your review from SmackDown, and yeah, I feel like for Paige, she should have came back as a single star. I think that was the plan ultimately, sort of come back to come face to face with Becky, I think, because that's the feud I kind of want to see. They never had a proper feud with each other. They were focused on Paige and Charlotte when Paige was still there in 2015, and they never got in chair. They never really explored the Paige and Becky feud. So I would have done that, have her go after Becky for the IC title, all us over, going after Becky. That's a good feud for Becky to have. So I was thinking, what's Becky going to do after she won the title back at WrestleMania? So at least she'll have Soul in the meantime while everyone else is occupied with Liv and Roxanne or Raquel Tees. I think that's going to be a breakup soon at some point. Liv will be by herself, which at this point she should. Anyway, Paige just needs to be a singles wrestler. I don't know how long they're going to have her be the champions, but I would have Becky and Paige have a feud with each other. That's in fantasy world. That's what I want to see. But in the meantime, I'm happy with Becky and Soul. But that's how I feel about it. But that's it. This show call. Bye.
Kyle, you hit on something there. Paige coming back as a tag team partner to Brie Bella is not what anyone wanted. Having Paige back is great, but they definitely aren't using her to her full potential and star power right now. They've really, I guess, inadvertently or purposefully pushed her into a division that has made a lot of strides, but it's not the singles division. Any tag team division in professional wrestling is never going to be the focal point of the product. But putting Paige in there has shown why not putting her in a singles position is hurting her. Now, is it going to make this second run in WWE a disaster? No. Because as you said, they'll eventually break it out when Nikki gets healthy. Unfortunately, the Bellas will continue their tag team run. Yes, I said unfortunately, and I mean that. I'm not sure how you feel, Kyle, about the Bellas. I've been very vocal about it, but nonetheless, I like how you bring the women's division to the forefront every week, because sometimes it's overlooked by the disastrous moments in the men's division on a weekly basis with certain things. And that said, more to the point here, Paige and Becky is going to happen. I think it will happen. They haven't forgotten. Paige hasn't forgotten. Becky hasn't forgotten. I don't think Triple H has forgotten. That's a SummerSlam headliner right there. For the women anyway, maybe not overall. But that's a feud that's waiting to happen. They're both veterans on the back ends of their career. It's a program that has to happen and should happen. You have Paige as the babyface. Becky's a heel. Becky has admitted this is her last run in terms of her last contract she'll ever sign. We'll see if that actually plays out. A lot of times they say that, and then you know how that goes in wrestling. But Paige and Becky Lynch, it'll happen. Just be patient. I mean, you got SummerSlam coming up. That's the WrestleMania of the summer. Their 2-night event. It's going to be I think a headlining matchup for the women. And the promos will be really good. A lot of content to pull from there. They're both really good on the mic. I have no concerns about it. It's just a matter of timing. And yes, Paige should not be in the tag team division. Nobody wants to see Paige in the tag team division. You can hear the response for her on a weekly basis. It's not good. She's not getting booed, but the fans are very quiet. For a returning Paige, she's quiet. And it's not a good thing. All right, let's get to some stories here. Something outside the ring, as we all have heard, if you've been paying attention to professional wrestling news, Ludwig Kaiser's in trouble. So this is according to Fox News. It's made national headlines. I mean, he didn't kill anyone, but it's on Fox News, other major outlets as well. So let's just go through it. So Ludwig Kaiser, his real name is Marcel Barthel. So he's 35. He was arrested on a misdemeanor battery charge on Wednesday, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by Fox News Digital. He was booked into Orange County Jail and released on $1,000, according to online records. He's got a mugshot, and the incident occurred back in April as authorities said the alleged victim reported being attacked in an elevator of an apartment complex. The alleged victim told officials that Barthel and a woman followed him into an elevator and were, quote, aggressively kissing in an uncontrollable, intimate manner. The alleged victim told the couple to show manners when Barthel was accused of hitting him and pushing him to the ground, according to authorities. An arrest warrant was later filed, and he turned himself in to police. Okay, now let's just take this at face value because, of course, there are two sides to every story. We don't know. Maybe there were other things done and said. There always seems to be more to a story than just one take on it, one perspective. So we'll wait till all the facts come out. But as it stands right now, okay, I'm going to give you my thoughts if all of this is to be taken at face value. If you're in an elevator and you see somebody just aggressively making out, now whatever aggressively making out means and being intimate can vary from person to person. It's a kind of a subjective thing to say. It's a very subjective description of the events. Maybe they were just kissing. Maybe it was as simple as just a couple of kisses, a couple of pecks, whatever. And this guy is just very sensitive to PDA and called him out on it, and that a fight ensued. Maybe it's what he said. Maybe they were making out. He was groping her. Maybe that's the case. Let's just go with that, okay? Until all the facts come out. And this guy said to Ludwig, hey, have some manners or whatever. And that I think is warranted. I don't know why people, and look, you up to a point have the right to kiss in public. I mean, kissing in public is not illegal. More than that, of course, could be a legal problem. But in an elevator, it's still public space. Yes, you're still held to the same standard. And it's just moral decorum. Even if it's not a legal problem of what they were doing, they weren't having full-on sex in the elevator, from what I guess. But you just have some moral decency. I actually agree with this guy. Again, taking this at face value. Him saying that is, I think, justified. And I just don't know how people have the no self-awareness to do that. Even people making out in public, I find I'll turn away. It's weird. I can't watch. Holding hands in public, obviously no problem. Some kisses here and there, I really don't mind. But when it comes to the full-on making out, I don't know what you have an audience. People are watching you. Why? I've never understood it. And maybe who cares? Okay, well, again, you're in public. When you get public comments, don't be surprised. So that said, if there was nothing physical on the end of the man who's accusing Ludwig of doing what he did, if there was nothing physical he did to invoke an attack, then Ludwig is 100% in the wrong. 100% in the wrong. And it sounds like he is. He turned himself in, which is a smart thing to do. And he is going to be facing the consequences. Probably, I mean, he's got an attorney. He's going to be giving his side of the events, and he ended up, punching the guy or whatever, which again is not warranted, totally unjustified. And if you feel that you not only have the right to aggressively be intimate, again, what that means differs, but if it's what we're all thinking, groping, making out, just, thing, we all know we know what it looks like in our minds, right? And then someone says something and then you attack that person for saying it, that tells me that you feel you have the right to not only kind of do that in public, but do it in public without any recourse, without anyone having any response to it. We're all just supposed to accept it, right? That tells you all you need to know about Ludwig, if this is true. So, we'll see what happens here. Again, nothing. It's not a massive deal. I mean, he ended up punching a guy. It seems like it's battery. He didn't end up putting the guy in a hospital. He didn't attack a child. It's something that it sounds like Ludwig is going to be paying the price for. But again, I'm not on Ludwig's side if the current facts of the case stand. So kind of a weird scenario there. All right, let's continue here. And let's see here. Tiffany Stratton, according to Fightful, has been added to SmackDown on 5/22 tonight. And I'm sure she has. I wonder if Tiffany, I don't think she said anything on Kaiser. That'd be interesting if she did. But all right. So Tiffany Stratton is set to defend her women's championship in an open challenge tonight. So WWE, they get on this open challenge bandwagon, man, and they just continue to run with it. How many open challenges? The United States Open challenges from the men, the women, Obafemi's open challenge, Brock Lesnar's open challenge to WrestleMania. Can we move away from the open challenge? Not everyone needs to be in one. And it seems like they are just pouring on the open challenge strategy all over their product right now. They find something that works with one person and then they apply it 5 other times. All right. Anyway, the other advertised matches and segments for SmackDown tonight are Shinsuke versus Tama Tonga. Cody Rhodes and Gunther are set to appear. We don't know what that means. We'd imagine a brawl and pull apart. Rhea Ripley is going to open the show. And Carmelo Hayes delivers a message to United States champion Trick Williams and Little Yachty. So, a fairly stacked SmackDown. I mean, it seems pretty much like your standard SmackDown we've been seeing for several weeks now. Carmelo Hayes being involved in the U.S. Championship again after disappearing for WrestleMania season is good. I know Sami Zayn will have something to say probably in there. Hopefully the Gingerbread Man is nowhere to be found ever again. And that's good for him. I mean, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, that's a heck of a match. To me, Trick Williams is the mature version of Carmelo Hayes. And I don't say mature in the sense that he's a very upstanding, well-spoken adult. It means he's a more, I should say, polished version of Carmelo Hayes. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what is done there. And all right, let's move on. So a story coming out of Wrestling Inc. WWE reportedly enforcing presentation change for ID talent. So what does that mean? It appears that the names that former independent wrestlers come to WWE with will no longer be used after signing their WWE ID, which stands for Independent Development. This is going forward. Sources close to Body Slam revealed that independent wrestlers who have signed a developmental contract with WWE will no longer be able to use their previous names. Effective immediately, and up-and-coming talents must use the names WWE has prepared for them for all future upcoming appearances. The following signees will be addressed by these new names. Okay, so they go through some examples. Changing the landscape of professional wrestling in October of 24, WWE ID was created to help scout, recruit, and support promising stars towards a career path by offering contracts that could help launch their commercial success. All right. that sounds to me more just like WWE wants to make sure that they own the intellectual property of every single star. That's what that sounds like to me. That doesn't sound like it's a protection for the talent to help develop them. I think that's deodorizing what's really happening. It's WWE trying to squeeze every dollar out of all of the intellectual property that they own with anyone in WWE that they have a name for. That's what that sounds like to me. It's a money-driven decision, not for the better for talent. It's a money-driven decision, like all decisions made by TKO, to make sure that they squeeze every dollar out of everything and everyone that they can. That's what that is. So there's no dispute in before they were brought in, they used this name and it was very successful. And perhaps they had some intellectual property and they filed some kind of paperwork for a trademark. They don't have to worry about that if WWE has their name, uses a different name, and they can then, of course, just squeeze all the money out of that person as possible. Yeah. Does that surprise anybody? Again, that's my take on it. But all right. Let's continue. Another story or two. Asuka, this is according to Wrestling Inc., offers explanation for WWE farewell and says future appearances will be, quote, rare. And following her loss at Backlash to Io Sky, Asuka's future is said to be, quote, up in the air. This according to Michael Cole. And the former women's champion revealed on YouTube her time in the company is not finished, though at the present time, fans should not expect to see her on a regular basis anymore. She said, quote, I'm sure you're all wondering what's next for me and how I'll be involved with TV and tours moving forward. But don't forget, I'm still officially with WWE. There's a chance I might pop up in front of you when you least expect it. Let's be honest, no one will ever make the kind of historic impact I made from day one. I don't think anyone will ever climb to the top nonstop, grabbing every title and accolade along the way. And because I'm a true pioneer, there will never be another Asuka. So from here on out, if you ever catch a glimpse of me, you better cherish it because it's going to be rare. She is so, humble, isn't she? Jesus Christ. She's saying, listen to this. I don't think this is Asuka. I don't think this is her character. It sounds very much like, her as a person, that no one's going to make the kind of impact she did, that she's grabbing every title. I don't think she grabbed every title, but sure. Along the way, you're a true pioneer. Everybody, I think that everyone in the women's division that is a part of any roster from like 2017 and forward feels that they're a pioneer in the women's division. There's some kind of some kind of forward thinker, some kind of true noble steed. I'm not sure. It's just like this built-in arrogance that everyone seems to have, that they feel there's some kind of trailblazer. I don't know what it is. Asuka, no doubt, has had a great career. She is a Hall of Famer, but is she really a pioneer? A pioneer in what? Yes, she was a staple of the women's division. I guess I'm just a little off-put by her, I think, overselling herself a bit. No doubt one of the greatest. She is. But, yeah, okay, sure. I'm kind of crapping on it, but not really. I agree with her, but I don't want to in a certain sense because I think she's overselling it a bit. She hasn't had the career of some women. But, all right. So, again, she's out because of a, quote, personal matter. And that's why. So we'll see her. I think she'll pop up for SummerSlam. I really do. I think you'll see her in August for SummerSlam, at least for a quick appearance. But that tells me when she comes back, she's not going to win anything. If she's at the kind of back end of her career and she's starting to give back and she's not going to appear that much, she's not winning any titles. So, okay. What's another story here? Should I choose? Let's see. Trick Williams. Oh, the SmackDown reaction of Trick Williams surprised company officials. Trick Williams, according to, again, Wrestling Inc., seems to have made a strong impression on management since his call up to the main roster, and they were pleasantly surprised by how quickly he has connected with fans. WWE has called up a few stars in recent months, and one performer who has stood out with his rapid rise is Williams. Fightful Select reported that management has been pleased with Williams' progress, particularly his recent appearance on May 15th of SmackDown. The outlet claimed that while WWE expected him to receive a strong reaction because the show was held in his home state, the response to his entrance and segment exceeded expectations. Management has also been reportedly happy with Williams' partner in crime, Lil Yachty, who has served as Williams' hype man and manager. They've been pleased with him and his dedication. And yeah, I have to say, I am as well. I have not been high on Trick Williams. Well, when he first came in, I was, I thought he was overacting. You hear my reviews, you can go back and listen. I thought that he was like playing a wrestling character. He was too focused on the entertainment-y, flashy part, very much over the top to the point of not being larger than life, just being obnoxious. I have not and was not really a fan, but I can see the appeal. I get it. Fans have really connected, and the fans are always looking for that new star to help push and that new organic love that they have for someone. That's just kind of how we gravitate towards the next big star. And right now, the Trick Williams phenomenon's real, and they did a lot. Same thing kind of with LA Knight, and to a certain degree, still going on. Although LA Knight, it's kind of at this point with LA Knight, shit or get off the pot. I mean, I'm not quite sure why they haven't pulled the trigger. That's a guy with the support he had and still does, again, to a certain degree, that it's befuddling why they didn't pull the trigger with him as champion to see how it went. Because when you get a star that has support from the fans, despite your booking and in spite of it for a sustained period, like multi-year period, that's a real connection. That's something real. And I think perhaps the same thing's going on, although in its infancy stages, with Trick Williams. Fans have connected. The whoop that trick. He's got a very over-the-top entrance, very, very showy. Lil Yachty does work well with him. He can wrestle. He's young. I do like his character much more than I thought I would. I understand his connection with the fans. I understand why they cheer him. And I hope he ascends to the moon. I do. It's always fun to see someone new come up and get that kind of reaction. But I would concur with the company here that I did not expect this loud of a reaction this soon. And he hasn't really done anything. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, okay. Yes, he has done something, right? Become U.S. champion. But my point is, he hasn't been here long enough to really earn the respect of the casual fan that doesn't know who he is. So perhaps it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do going on with Trick Williams. The only way to know if that's true is to see the continued support for him, how long it lasts. You know, because sustainability is the key. It's not a flash in the pan like Fandango in his dancing. Remember that at WrestleMania? And then WWE decided the next night on Raw, we ain't doing this. Remember that? If you do, Fandango after he faced Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. Anyway, my point is, yeah, you got to have a sustained support, or you're not gonna be real. And the WWE, I think, is kind of testing the waters here to say, hey, do we really have something here, or is this a fad? Is this monkey see, monkey do? What is this? And they're gonna ride that wave, and they should, and see how far they can go with them. Can anybody understand what whoop that trick is? Like, what does that mean? Whoop that ass? I guess trick is now substituted for ass. I'm not sure. But it's just a fun phrase that like no one can define. So fine, let's ride the wave, man. Let's ride that wave. I'm down for that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that yes, he's overachieved as well. I would concur with that opinion. All right, do I have time for one more? Oh, okay. So there's been this rumor going around that WWE is trying to revive Enzo and Big Cass, and that they're trying to bring them back. They said, and this is, once again, Wrestling Inc., said there's recent rumors of Amore training at the Performance Center and Big Bill, i.e. Big Cass, having his contract with AEW expire soon, have given rise to speculation that they could be returning to the company. WrestleVotes on Fightful Select has reported that WWE is rumored to be keen to sign them. And they emphasized how Enzo and Cass have a good relationship with a few producers, and Enzo is currently a free agent, having just a few indie promotions. But Big Cass is still under contract with AEW and could be with the promotion until at least the end of May. So what, a couple weeks, a week? I mean, geez, that's quick. I have mixed feelings about this. It would get a big reaction, I think, and they certainly underachieved in what they should have achieved with the connection they have with the fans, and Enzo Amore being able to have some great connection with the fans. I mean, he did. He connected with the fans in a really strong way. They were a nice duo. The height difference, the chemistry was all there. But they did have some outside issues. We all know about Big Cass and having him look and show up to a wrestling show inebriated. He was overweight. That didn't look good. Enzo Amore had his issue with some allegations. But if those are all cleared and they are now free, clear, and ready to go, maybe you sign them. Maybe you do. I wouldn't be opposed to it if the time is right and they want to bring some life back into the tag team division. I think it's a decent move, but you got to be careful with these two given their history. So, yeah, that's interesting. I do wonder if they'll actually go through with it. All right, that'll do it for the WWE podcast, everybody. I'm going to head on out. I've got some things I got to do, as I said. And again, if you want to join the show, you can do that via email, mailbag@wwepodcast.com. You can also hit me on X at wrestling_audio. And I'll be back on Sunday for your week in review with Saturday night's main event. Of course, excuse me, also going to be a part of the show. So a big show Sunday night for your weekend review / Saturday night's main event review. So that'll be fun. Join us at patreon.com/WWE podcast if you want to go ad free, or join us on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that podcasts are there. So, all right, that'll do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.